Welcome to this video. I use here the word herd several times. Herd means innate immune system. So here we go. The herd uses virus and coronavirus to prime against plague. The herd in normal circumstances takes care of the maintenance of the herd. Here's the herd is the body and the innate immune system. It does the clearing, cell death, apoptosis to make ready for regeneration by stem cells, and priming against diseases. I talk about plague because it's shorter than plague-like diseases or all non-viral diseases, so I sometimes speak about plague, but it's diseases with high mortalities that are non-viral in general. But I give it a good chance if it would appear that it would be the plague, Yersinia pestis, which presents itself in three forms. So priming, the priming also happens with measles-like also viral diseases, while in parallel with this clearing, cleaning and priming, the body, the herd, the innate immune system preserves a reserve of emergency treat responses based on coronavirus-like viral diseases. Maybe reserve of emergency, that is, the body needs and the herd needs a coronavirus that's still corona or other virus that cause inflammation and start priming and cleaning because of cell death, apoptosis, etc. This is quite an unusual view. It's not very standard. So the herd uses virus and coronavirus to prime, protect against plague. This is an exceptional claim and it will need exceptional proof. So we split it up in elements. This use to prime, protect against plague and plague-like diseases, we split it up. The herd detects or senses certain threats, for instance plague, remotely. A unusual claim as well. It's a spatial and I'm looking, we should look for spatial and temporal associations that have no chance to be coincidences. Then your claim is proven. I mean, at least this part of the claim, because it's split up. The herd cleans and maintains. I mentioned that and I discussed this already here. The herd primes against plague-like diseases, non-viral infectious diseases with extreme mortality, like plague. Plague is non-viral. It's a microbe. Then the herd selects. I leave it that here for now. Won't give any comments on that, except maybe that I don't think the herd selects in the sense of the herd does not eliminate because something is too weak. I think we'll tell about it later. I think weaker elements give a good reserve of I just said it before, it has a reserve of, don't remember now, additional proofs by further intertwined associations. Here comes a naive proof. I won't do it right now. Let me see. People do not know what associations are. Associations should be important in any proof. So this is an example without using associations. Then another naive proof built up in parts. This one is in one piece, simplified, with no associations needed. And in this second naive proof there's at least some associations mentioned. Whenever there is a surge of plague, even somewhere far away in the world, initially certain herds nearby, but possibly later also over the world, start to inflame, and by inflaming start to prime against the plague. I call it very naively inflammation. It is priming, it's cleaning. It's not just a simple inflammation. So so the chances to inflame, to prime early, are larger when close by, but inflaming and priming apart from proximity also and critically depends on susceptibility for whatever factor, probably viral, a body or the herd can sense or detect. So one step further, this was without mentioning diseases that prime. Then here we will define what diseases that will prime. Measles and coronavirus will follow and start to prime if there were surges of plague nearby or far away. So interesting is the plague situation in Madagascar. Every year there's a surge of plague. Plague is endemic. So in Madagascar there was also a COVID epidemic. So this is an article. The first case of COVID was 20 March 2020 in Madagascar. In 2019 the plague cases were down, but measles epidemics or surges were up, I think 4 times. Largest outbreak of measles in Madagascar of all times was in 2019. So priming started. So plague cases went down in 2019. That fits in the theory. this is practice. I got this number independent of the theory I'm presenting. So in Madagascar there were 88 plague cases instead of 800, 1000 or more normally. So this is really down. It's 10% or less than 10% than other years. And then we just saw that in Madagascar in 2019 measles was up 4 times, I think, or it was the biggest. It doesn't say four times. It was the bigger ever surge in measles, and that is priming after pneumonic plague. And Madagascar knew its most important and largest outbreak of plague, and the plague that is much worse or much more dangerous for the herd than bubonic plague. It was pneumonic plague, this largest and most important outbreak, also in urban areas. That's in 2017. So it started to threaten the herd in Madagascar, but in the whole world. Just discuss this. The alert, the threat, the sensing takes place all over the world. I have no explanation how this happens, but associations are there all the time. Very high associations. Temporal and spatial associations are proofs, are statistical proofs. In this case it would prove with very high confidentialities, these associations. So plague, the largest and the most important, was the pneumonic plague in Madagascar 2017. 2019 the biggest measles outbreak, and coronavirus appears in 2020, but I think the country eventually is so weak organized that it's possible that corona appeared earlier. But anyhow, even it was really 2020 that corona, COVID appeared, it still falls in place. It's the sequence: pneumonic plague, measles surge, and coronavirus. All elements of this series are in place here. I think I will leave this article here. Here again, an article. Largest outbreak of measles in Madagascar 2019. What I did for Madagascar is similar for Central African Republic, CAR, the earlier Congo. It returns, it presents a very high association, which is equal or maybe better than many proofs. Here the pneumonic plague, Madagascar 2017. And here I claim that measles and coronavirus inflammation, priming, cleaning, symptoms without pathogen is an indication that the measles and or coronavirus inflammations, symptoms and potential priming, because an infection doesn't always lead to priming. of a potential priming, because the symptoms have to appear, inflammation-like symptoms, events must take place. What I mean is, without the pathogen, is what I discussed earlier. If, for instance, in a coronavirus infection, when the coronavirus, the round globe with the spikes, enters the cell, is pushed in the cell by the cell, it is dismantled by the cell. So when it comes in, we generally will think it is in, but when it's in, it's already dismantled. In fact, it doesn't even enter entirely. It's already the spikes and all other parts, apart from the non-functional RNA, it's not even DNA, it's RNA, stays outside. Only the non-functional RNA enters the cell, and even that is dismantled. That's why I say that it's an inflammation of the cells. You can easily call it an infection, keep on calling it an infection, but it's without the pathogen that we suspected. That means it inflames, etc., and even generates many new coronavirus, but all this happens without the pathogen. The pathogen is not in the cell. When it's produced in mass and assembled, it's expelled. So you never had the infecting virus in the cell. So this is for now. Next video, hope to see you again. Thank you a lot.